How nice would it be if we could just choose our own thoughts? Could you imagine that? Every time you're in an uncomfortable situation and your mind goes, well, that's terrible, I suck, you can just say, well, I don't want to think that, I want to think that I'm great, that everything is just fine. Now, would you like that? And do you have to do affirmations for that to happen? Do you have to do some special mantras? Do you have to do some journaling or some shadow work? Or what do you have to do for that to work? Well, you'd be surprised that it's none of those things. In fact, to have better thoughts, you don't even have to think at all. In fact, you can live your entire life without thinking. Let me explain how exactly. And let me explain how that is going to be the most dramatic change that you will ever experience. Yes, you can live your entire life without thinking a single thought. I know, thought-provoking, right? But hear me out. Have you ever been in a state of flow? You know, when you're just doing something that you really love and you're just sitting there and you get lost in time, you get lost in the doing, you just kind of merge into the air around you and it feels amazing. And then you stop and you go to bed and then the thoughts start rushing in and now suddenly you're in trouble again. Right until you go back into it, that state of flow. But here's a little interesting thought experiment for you. If you can get into the state of flow during your creative project, what would happen if we instead viewed the entirety of your life as your creative project? And then we try to get into a state of flow. Wow. Does that mean we could be in a state of flow for the rest of our lives? Yes, that's exactly what it means. You can be in the zone, in the state of flow, live in a thoughtless state of mind for the rest of your life. Now, what sounds better to you? To be able to choose your own thoughts or to live in a state of flow? How good does it feel to be in a state of flow? How little do all these external things around us matter when we are in a state of flow? Relationships, money, career, how little do these things matter when we are in a state of flow? And at the same time, how much better are we at doing everything we need to do? When we are in flow, we don't have insecurities. We don't have fear, we don't have worry, we don't even need to choose our thoughts. The reason why some people feel like they need to choose better thoughts is because they operate in the paradigm of thinking. What we do here in this channel is we go a step above, right? We let go of the whole paradigm of thinking. We're not thinking good thoughts or bad thoughts. No, we don't think at all. We stay in the flow. Okay, we taste what flow feels like when we do our creative projects, and then we ask ourselves, what would it take for me to have the same relationship with life itself as I do with my creative projects? To the soul, to the grandiosity of the soul, your creative project is just as little and insignificant as the entirety of your life. It can merge into whatever vessel, whatever container you give it. So if you say, this is my life, I want to be in a state of flow, it's going to happen. It's that simple. It's that simple. Now, the thoughts might tell you otherwise, but hey, we're stepping outside of the thinking. Let's do a little meditation right now. Let's do a very, 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 very simple meditation just to get you started. So, close your eyes, straighten your back, take a couple of deep breaths. And what I want you to do now is to, as you're breathing, as you're observing your own breathing, visualize a ball of energy inside your head. And with each breath, visualize how this ball of energy that has a very, very strong gravity, it has such a strong gravity that it's pulling all the thoughts into it like a black hole. And as it's pulling all these negative thoughts and all the other thoughts as well into this black hole, it's falling down to the ground. With each breath, it's falling lower and lower and lower and lower until you can't hear it anymore. Notice how your thoughts become weaker and weaker and weaker. Now, keep at it, keep returning to this ball of energy, let it fall back down. Whenever a thought emerges, feel how this ball with this gravitational pull is taking all these thoughts with them and then dragging them down every single time. Now, this clears your mind. This shows you that you can indeed have a clear mind. Just like you can have a clear sky with no clouds, you can have a mind that is empty. Now, the second part of getting into flow is the feeling. You want to feel good, right? And there is a little bit of work when it comes to this because something is blocking you from feeling good. That's the only reason why you're not feeling good. By default, it should be enough for you to clear your head, but there are blockages inside of you. You need to address these blockages. First, you need to find out where your blockages are coming from, and obviously this is best done through some consultation when you're actually talking to someone who is a teacher of spirituality, and they will very quickly be able to point it out. Like if I talk to you right now, I would very easily, if you're ready for it, be able to point out this and this and this is your blockage. Here's how you can let go of it, right? For everyone is different, but let me take a very basic example that applies to a lot of people, okay? And it has to do with abundance and scarcity, right? So there are these two modalities of life, and everyone operates in each one of them in different contexts, right? So you might feel abundant in love, but then you might be in a scarcity mentality when it comes to money or something. So you see, but to get into that state of flow, you need to be in a positive emotion in each area of your life. You need to have essentially an abundant outlook on every single aspect of your life. So your finance, your health, your wealth, everything, every single aspect, you have to have that abundant feeling, right? So we're using the external reality to pinpoint things on the inside, right? This is some advanced stuff right here. But what it allows us to do is it allows us to free up those blockages. Because the moment we find that trigger point, the moment we find that place where we feel like the emotional body is hard stuck on scarcity, we can through meditation, we can investigate that feeling. We can keep triggering the same energetic block. Then we can reverse it. We can affirm the positive affirmation of that block. So if it's a scarcity around money, then you can obviously trigger it by saying that you are wealthy or something, right? Now you keep triggering it both in the positive and the negative affirmation, and eventually you free it. Eventually you open up that block, right? So you can try it for yourself right now when it comes to scarcity and abundance. Figure out where in your life you feel a scarcity. Do affirmations that are both positive and negative around that area of your life. And then consciously feel the block. You will quite literally feel how that block is traveling up your body, up your throat, up to your head, and eventually it leaves. That's how it works with these emotional blockages. They have to physically leave our body, you know. And once they do that, then you enter that state of flow. The blockages, the fears, the doubts, the worries, the negative energies, they might return over time. We could also say that we as consciousness will once again potentially fall into a merge with these negative bodies. And when that happens, we have to go through that whole process again, this whole cleansing of locating the block, possibly with these external triggers around scarcity and abundance. You should try this. There are many other triggers, but this one is one of the primary ones. You feel consciously how that energetic block is generating all these negative thoughts. And then you consciously release it. I remember in the beginning when I heard about these things, I was like, such an impossible task. Like it didn't make sense to me. How can you release something internally? How can you choose to let go of something? Do you use your thinking to let go of it? Do you say to yourself, I choose to let go of this? That's setting the intention. But no, that's not letting go of it. Letting go of it is letting go of it. Now, if I told you to pick up a pen and let go of it, you wouldn't ask me how to let go of it, right? You wouldn't say, subtract your finger muscles. You wouldn't tell me that, right? You would get it. You would understand what I mean when I say let go of the pencil. Now, the deeper you also knows what I say, let go of an internal block, let go of a negative belief, let go of a negative feeling. You know exactly what that means. Just have to trust yourself that it's possible. But sometimes just becoming aware of that block itself is enough to release it. Now, for any of this to make sense, for any of this to work in the first place, you need to obviously know this one thing, that you are abundant. Okay, you are, by nature, you are meant to be abundant in all areas of your life. You're meant to feel total abundance in your health, in your wealth, in your love. You're meant to literally feel whole and complete as you are. And this is not just, an affirmation. This is an actual reality that is possible. Okay, to feel whole and complete. Like really whole and complete. Like you don't need anything. You don't want anything. You're here because you're enjoying it. But you don't need to do anything. You don't need to have anything. You're whole and complete as you are. You doing something from this state is it's just because your energy is just overflowing. That's all it is. There is absolutely no motivation involved when you are doing things from this space of flow. You're just overflowing with energy. That energy just has to go somewhere. It's like you're holding this glass of water and you know that it's about to spill over because it just keeps becoming more and more full. Eventually it just has to go somewhere, right? And then it can go into a creative outlet. It can go into, you working on your relationships. It can go into the gym, whatever you want, right? But the point is, you will feel like a full cup all the time. And that's the place to be. That's where you want to create from. That's where you want to relate to other people from. This is where your headspace should be when it comes to negative versus positive thoughts. This is a level up above affirmations. You can set the intentions, that's very good. You can set the intentions on reaching your goals, on having better thoughts. But clearing out these energies, these blockages, is better than 1,000,000 of these affirmations. It's like, you say one picture says more than 1,000 words. One energetic block contains more information than 1,000,000 affirmations. So why not start there?